Hello, friends. Welcome to Akul Mac Live, and I'm Chandrakant. This video is sponsored by Performance Works International. More about them in a bit. The details about Performance Works is also mentioned in the link down in the description. You can go there and find out more. But the video about today is about crop, about food. What about climate? So I think it's very important. And recently, our Prime Minister launched one of the biggest crop program. So I want to update you about that. So why it is so important, and especially in India? Well, India is a very large country, as you know, and India has a lot of people employed in the agriculture. And if you look at the market in terms of the job opportunities in the this segment, there are already about 200 million people employed. So you can imagine, the number of people who are doing farming in our country are almost much bigger than several other countries put together. So just in one segment. Now, what happens is that since we are actually a large population nation, the land size or the piece of land that is transferred from generations from father to son, so on, keep reducing in size because the transition of the property will happen from generation to generation. The newer generation will have a smaller piece of land, and because of that, the output of individual farmer cannot be very high. But because when you started a couple of generations back, you had huge land, and now the farmers have their land is broken down because of transfer of ownership between generations. Now the farmers have small land. The problem with this segment is that the unlike other industry where if you increase the production, your output will also increase, your revenue will also increase. The problem with this particular segment is that whatever you do, your you put manure, best quality manure, put whatever it takes, irrigation projects, canals, whatever it takes to increase the earning from the piece of land for farmers, the increase will not be more than 1% at the most. So if the segment is growing at the rate of 3%, to take care of so many things, the increase will only increase by 1%. So, and that is the maximum you can get, because here we're dealing with the earth, and earth has a limited output capacity. You cannot have a lot of output from from the earth. So because of that, um, when you talk about earning for farmers, their piece of lands are smaller, and crop they are getting right now is even smaller, because the individual farmer makes lot of not lot of money, and that is why they live, most of them live below poverty line. The farming business is very fruitful if you have large piece. So there are two things you can do: either acquire the piece of land, and but then for that there are regulations, or you increase the crop. So we will discuss this issue here. And as you can see, what I'm trying to show here is that in terms of the topsoil, which is very vital for growing plants, the zero point 0.5 million is used for agriculture in India, and almost 4.7 billion hectares are used as a forest land. So we cannot destroy forest in order to increase our farmland. So you can imagine, the farmland is almost like 10% of the forest land. So we still very fortunate to have a lot of forest in our country. But at the same time, when we have to look at aspirations of 200 million people, of our almost like 15% of our population, we have to find a solution out of this whole issue, because 200 million and the land is not increasing, whereas the population is increasing, the number of farmers are increasing, but the land is not increasing. And if you look at the agriculture style is very dependent on the weather patterns. So as you know, friends, we have a monsoon pattern, and because of that, we have two major crop seasons. One is soon after the monsoon, and one is before the monsoon start, before the summers, the Great Indian Summers. So monsoon controls lot of uh, automatic distribution of nutrient, water, etc. And hence, the agriculture style is also very highly dependent on the oncoming of monsoon. Even though there are a lot of rains and floods many times here in our country, but that is very vital to maintain the current ecosystem of farmland that we have. So it's very important. Unless we develop some alternative systems, like a small country like Israel has done, where you actually don't depend on monsoon for water and other flood related nutrient distribution systems, where you actually identify and distribute those artificially, like this one in the picture behind me. uh, this is a water irrigation system, and it is able to filter provide water to a big farm without depending on the rain patterns. So this kind of style of agriculture is not prevalent in India. So we have to invest a lot because we are a big country. If we want to change the style of agriculture in order to increase the output of uh, farm income, increase the farm income and output also from the land. The second issue we will have is we have to embark on mega projects of building multiple canals across the nation to bring water from the rivers. I mean, we have no dearth of fresh water. The big rivers like Ganga and Brahmaputra are already bringing a lot of water in plains. But if we want to increase our farming land, we have to construct new topsoils, and we have to bring water to that particular area. So we have to identify which new area which is right now barren, not forested, can we use that as a farming land where there is no life being available in the nature life, or there is nobody who's living there. So is there an option to convert? Now the problem with this method is that it will take a lot of time to start giving results, because if we build a lot of canals, we build topsoils from other areas and bring it to the, I think it will take about 15 to 20 years for this project to start giving um, results. So we have to continue to do this. There has to be balance between how much we should invest in building these projects and how much we should do to acquire new tech. The third thing that we need to improve is distribution of important products like urea, which are predominantly used in farming, and it is very good for plants for providing the nutrient for growth. But urea as a chemical is also a very sought after chemical in the industries also. So one good thing that Indian government has done for past 6 7 years is that they are neem coating the urea granules, and neem is a natural product, and after neem coating, the product will be useful only for the agriculture, and it will not be useful for the other industries. So by doing this, we are protecting our interest, and we are not allowing the price of urea to jack up, because other industrialists who can increase their output, they can pay more for this chemical called urea, and now since it is coated with neem, it is useless for other industries. So, something good for the favor of farmers, the government of India doing. But in the end, what people want, what the consumer want all the organic material, like our forefathers are getting. During olden times, there was no artificial chemicals, there was no artificial fertilizers. Everything was organic. That means it never harms the nature. Whatever we put into plants, uh, pesticides, etc., they were all nature friendly. So the trend now for last at least 15 years, at least in India, is that to consume as much as possible organic food. This is what the consumer wants. But the challenge is that if you go to organic farming, then the throughput of your farmland will even further reduce. So I think there has to be a right balance between how much output you can get from the farmland and how farmer can increase his income. Yet the consumer aspirations are also maintained. So keeping that in mind, it is very well known. I have given you a lot of data today. I've given you the water amount of water we have, amount of farming land we have, why we have this situation in India because of population. So understanding all of this life cycle, I think the only way is to uh, use the genetically engineered crops, which will give you more output from that piece of land. That is the only way out here. Considering, I mean, we can't spend a lot of exchequer's money in digging canals, taking water, and in the end, we will only realize that there is no topsoil to grow proper cultivation, to grow different kinds of vegetation there. So it is a very slow process, and we can't really meddle with Mother Nature and force anything. It'll be a mega project which will last for 20 to 30 years if we want to increase the farmland from what we have today. And so the only best way to grow output is to do more research into genetically engineered crop, which will give you more output per hectare. And that is why this news is so important when Mr. Modi has gifted 35 new species that are purely developed by Indian scientists in terms of giving more output. And this has been developed by Indian scientists, and they are best for Indian conditions, which is like hot and humid, and resistance to uh, more diseases which are found in the plants in this part of the world. So these are all those kind of crops which are engineered specifically for the Indian farming and farming needs and farmer output from their field. And there are 35 of them, and all of them are widely used in India, like wheat, tur dal, soya bean, jowar, maize, and so on, mustard seeds. These are very, very widely used across India. And there are two things that they are trying to solve by, using these crops. One is that these crops will be more resilient to the environment, and they will give you more output. So you will not have to spend extra money in putting a lot of fertilizers and pesticides. They will be resilient. They will give you more output. I think the training institute, agriculture training institute across the country are going to provide this the farming people and take this information with training, proper training back there, so that they can leverage this new scientific discoveries or invention, whatever you want to call it. These are new species which are totally developed by genetically engineering the crop by Indian scientists. So this is why this is a very big news, and this will increase the output of the current farmers, thus will increase their income as well. So this is a fantastic news. This is going to change the outlook on the farm sector in India. Um, the government is spending a lot of efforts in terms of bringing these new types of crops to the farmer, giving proper training, doing neem coating of urea granules, also giving a lot of financial benefits to the farmer, because over the years, as I explained in the beginning, the farmland is small for individual farmers. So by doing these steps, they will be able to increase the um income of small farmers, and gradually they will start building canals and starting raising the farmland where currently there is barren land, by taking water to those areas and also bringing topsoil into these areas, giving farmers, future farmers, ability to buy new land so that they can increase the size of their farm plots. So friends, do let me know what you think about it. Engage with us by giving comments, and I will catch you.
This video is sponsored by Performance Works International.
Are you ready for the challenges facing the modern workplace? Recent events have taught us the importance of transformation. Businesses now face a perfect storm of challenges. No business is too big to fail, and many are too slow to succeed. Our workforce is changing fast. We're entering a new age of empowerment, and everyone can contribute. The Inner CEO reveals how we can all play a part in making leading at all levels a reality. Written by Jeremy Blaine, an expert on business transformation and growth, it provides a roadmap to help everyone unleash their inner CEO and contribute beyond their job role, whatever their level. Traditionally, strategy has been owned by the few. Now it's time for the many to contribute. Leadership must come from a broader base. Everyone has the potential to step up and make things happen. It's a new model of collective and collaborative leadership which unleashes the power of people, enabled by appropriate technology and a supportive management structure. The book provides a roadmap for a bold new age of empowerment. Supported by a range of resources, the book provides a toolkit to help anyone unleash their inner CEO. Organisation health, development and growth is owned at all levels. Are you ready to unleash the inner CEO?